Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this evening to learn more about T3 and the Partnership Pledge. My name is Natalie Jacobs, and I am the manager of post-secondary pathways here at T3. And really what that means is that I have the pleasure of supporting you by ensuring that you're connected with the resources and supports necessary in order to enroll in education after high school with confidence. Also joining me from T3 today is our Director of Post-Secondary Pathways, Richard Owens. I wanted to just cover a few housekeeping items today before we get started. We will be hosting a questions and answer session at the end of today's presentation. However, please feel free to drop any questions that you may have in the chat feature throughout the presentation. I may refer or use the term post-secondary pathway or post-secondary throughout today's presentation, and really what I mean when I use that phrase is education or training beyond high school. So just keep that in mind. So before I talk more about the Partnership Pledge, I just want to give you some background information on our organization, T3 in general. So we here at T3 are really committed to increasing the number of students in Tarrant County that pursue education beyond high school. And the reason that we are so dedicated to doing that and making sure that that happens is that research is showing that by 2030, an estimated 60% of jobs are going to require some sort of training or education after high school, which is a significant amount. And so we here at T3 really want to make sure that the students in Tarrant County are equipped to be competitive in the workforce in the future. How we are doing that is we are bringing together local educators, businesses, and community partners to provide different supports and resources that will help you pursue a post-secondary credential with confidence. So what is the T3 Partnership Pledge? So in order to gain access to the different supports and resources provided by T3, you must become a T3 scholar. And in order to become a scholar, you have to take the T3 Partnership Pledge, which really is a commitment to take specific action steps that is going to position you to enroll in education after high school. And so we are going to talk more about how to take the pledge here in a minute, but first we're going to show you a short video that actually features some of your peers and the college and career advisors at some of our Fort Worth ISD high schools to provide more information on the different supports available and your general timeline.
My name is Vanessa and I'm a T3 scholar. And I'm currently a senior in Fort Worth ISD. I wanted to share an opportunity that I've recently learned about.
Hi, I'm Valerie and I'm a senior in Fort Worth ISD.
If you're like me, you've probably been asking yourself questions like,
I have a dream for my future, but where do I start?
what do I need to do after high school to achieve that dream?
And what resources are available in helping me with those steps?
My name is Ashlyn Holiday and I work at Diamond Hill Jarvis High School.
I'm Kanali Miller. I'm at Western Hills High School and I'm a T3 advisor. The Tarrant 2 and 3 Partnership, T3, is a program that aims to help students answer those very questions and to build a clear path towards a bright future after high school.
By taking the T3 Partnership Pledge, you could gain access to scholarship dollars. So for any Fort Worth ISD senior attending Tarrant County College, you may be eligible to receive a tuition-free last dollar scholarship. That's right, tuition-free scholarship. You can also have access to internship, mentorship, and job shadow opportunities to help you determine what your career interests are.
And programs and support after high school graduation to ensure you are successful in your college and career journey.
Now here's the first important step, filling out the T3 Partnership Pledge. To learn more, visit www.t3partnership.org to see what supports you are eligible to receive.
The T3 Partnership Pledge helped me reflect on what I'd like to do after high school and asked me to make a few commitments. To receive program scholarships and supports, I committed to graduate from high school, complete my financial aid paperwork, meet TSI requirements, complete 8 hours of community service, and apply to a T3 partner college or university.
And don't worry, by completing the pledge, this does not commit you to attending a T3 partner college or university.
The team knows you have choices and they're here to help you along the way. I am excited to continue writing my own story with the support of T3, and I hope you will join me by taking the pledge.
The pledge asks you about your career interests and plans for after high school, and T3 will use this information to connect you with different opportunities and people that can support you along the way.
Follow us on social media for more updates at T3 Partnership.
Have questions? Email us at support@t3partnership.org.
So, broadly speaking, by taking the pledge, you are going to receive guidance on developing a personalized post-secondary pathway. You're going to gain access to a network of resources and people to support you along your journey. And you will have various engagement through technology platforms to help streamline the process. So the supports and resources may vary based upon your high school. So please visit our website for more information about the supports and resources that are available to you. So drilling down just a little bit further, if you attend TCC after you graduate from high school, you could gain access to the following supports and resources. A last dollar tuition-free scholarship, which is a scholarship that will cover tuition costs after all Pell Grants, federal, state, or institutional aid have been applied. Bridge programming to support you with the transition between high school graduation and the beginning of college. College and persistence coaching, so individual and group advising and different resources to ensure that you are successful during your time in college. And then if you end up transferring to a four-year partner university after TCC, you will also be provided supports and resources during that transition period. Should you choose to attend one of our four-year partner universities, you could gain access to a first dollar scholarship, which is $500 per year that can be applied to things like supports for books, fees, and more. Again, that bridge programming, which is going to support you between the period of high school graduation and the beginning of college, and then specialized on-campus support and resources to help you persist and complete your degree. And one thing to note in addition to this is that there are high school and income criteria that applies to the various supports and the scholarships. So again, please make sure you check out our website to learn more about what is available to you specifically. Speaking of our four-year universities, we are excited to announce that these are the institutions that we will be partnered with this year. So we will be likely adding one more four-year university later this month. So make sure you follow us on social media to stay up to date on our four-year partners. So here is a brief timeline of some notable dates to remember for maintaining your T3 supports. So the first deadline that I want to highlight here is that February 12th is the last day to take the pledge, which is coming up here quickly. So if you haven't done so already, we really encourage you to use this time to take the pledge today. The next notable date is going to be April 2nd. So this is the deadline to complete your college applications as well as complete your financial aid paperwork, such as the FAFSA or TASFA. After that, the next notable date is July 1st, which is going to be our deadline to complete your community service hours. And we will be sending out some options for completing those community service hours here in the next couple of months, which is also going to include the option to opt out for this year with a commitment to complete those hours in the future. We know that things are kind of still up in the air with COVID and everything, so we want to ensure that everybody feels safe. So that is something to note. And then last but not least, July 31st is our deadline to complete the enrollment process into one of those four-year or two-year partner institutions, as well as meet your TSIA requirements. So now that we've talked about what the T3 Partnership Pledge is, I want to take a few minutes here to show you guys how to take the pledge. And so we're going to show you another short video that is going to walk you step by step through the process. And we're actually going to drop the link to take the pledge here in the chat box. So you can click on that link and pull it up in another browser and take the pledge while this video is playing.
Hello everyone. If you've made it this far, you know that completing the pledge is the first step that Fort Worth ISD juniors and seniors need to take to access Tarrant 2 and 3 scholarship opportunities and other supports. If this is your first time interacting with the T3 pledge, we encourage you to check out some of our other resources. The pledge will ask you to commit to a few things. Here they are. And remember, taking the pledge does not commit you to any particular pathway after high school. You will also share some information with us. Your interest in various careers, your interest in different career options after high school, your contact information. The primary way we will do that is through text messages, so be on the lookout for info from us after you take the pledge. Alright, now on to the pledge. We encourage you to open a new window in your browser and take the pledge alongside us. To get to the pledge, you will visit pledge.t3partnership.org/65. When you first get to the pledge page, this is what it looks like. As you scroll down, it'll ask you for your year of graduation and the high school you attend. Part 1 of the pledge asks for your lunch number, first and last name, date of birth, and a personal email. When you type your name, please make sure to enter it exactly how it appears in Focus. If you have 2 last names, include those. If there are spaces in your names, make sure that is included as well, or the pledge will not process and it will not allow you to complete it. Part 2 of the pledge looks like this. It'll show your first and last name, your lunch number, your personal email. If there are any boxes for you to check to confirm, that means that the information you entered did not match directly to what was in Focus, and you will have to resubmit your pledge for it to process. As you scroll down, it'll ask you for your preferred name, whether you have a cell phone, your cell phone number, access to the internet, and if you have any children. Part 3 of the pledge asks you to confirm some statements. By checking these boxes, you confirm that you are adhering to the requirements of the T3 pledge. This is not binding, and should you choose to back out of this pledge, you have the ability to do so at a later time. Part 4 of the pledge asks for biographical information. You will enter your address, city, state, zip code, and the county. If you live in Fort Worth or Arlington, the county is Tarrant. As you continue to scroll down, it'll ask how you identify. Please indicate your ethnicity, your race, your gender, and the family members that you live with. Check all of the boxes that will apply. Once you've done this, it'll ask for parent information. Please enter the information that you have available. If your parent or guardian does not have an email address, it's okay to go ahead and enter yours so that you may proceed through the pledge. Part 5 of the pledge is college readiness. Check all the boxes that apply if you are a part of those programs. It will then ask you for your first, second, and third choice for career options. If you don't know, go ahead and check the I don't know box. It will then ask you for what your current plan is for after high school. If you plan to attend a 2 or 4 year school, go ahead and check the box of any of the universities that pop up that are applicable to you. It will then take you to the pledge e-signature page. Go ahead and check all of the boxes next to the statements and scroll down to the bottom to click Submit to e-sign. It will then take you to this page. Please review your response and sign. It is just restating the statements that you checked boxes to. The next part following asks for your signature. On the line where it says please sign here, use your mouse or your finger if it's a touchscreen to write your name. It's okay if it looks like scribbles. This is going to be the best way for you to sign this pledge to make sure that it actually goes through. After signing your name, you will type your name into the box, your initials, and your email address. Once this has been completed, scroll to the bottom and click Submit e-signed responses. It will then take you to this page that says T3 Partnership Pledge Confirmation. You know that it has been successful when there shows a date, a time, and a pledge ID number. If you scroll to the bottom on the left-hand side, click to finish. Press that button. You cannot submit your pledge unless you press that button and it successfully redirects you to this page. Congratulations! Now you've submitted your T3 pledge. Now meet with your Go Center advisor. We're here to help you with anything college, career, and military readiness. Good luck!
Hopefully you had the opportunity to complete the pledge during the video if you haven't done so already. However, if you didn't have the chance, feel free to do that now, or you can wait until after we complete today's session in case you have any additional questions. We are here to support you. If you run into any issues or errors, if you do, shoot us a message in the chat and we will support you right away. An important thing I just want to highlight and note, I know that they kind of reviewed this during the video, but I really want to just review it now again here, is that you have to enter your name exactly how it is listed in Focus. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to complete the pledge. Some examples of names that may experience issues are shown on the screen here, specifically ones with hyphenated names, dashes, or apostrophes. So if you do receive an error and you've attempted to take the pledge several times, please reach out to an advisor or us here at T3 so that we can support you and help you complete the process. So now that you've taken the pledge and we've talked about the process and everything, I'm sure you're probably wondering what happens next. And that's a really great question. So here's a roadmap of what your priorities as a senior are over the next year. And while this slide is specific to priorities for seniors, if you're a junior, you should still prioritize completion of the pledge now. And we'll talk a little bit about kind of what your priorities are between now and your senior year. So first, you're going to want to make sure that you connect with your college and career advisor for post-secondary planning support right away and continue that process through the end of the year. The next priority is to make sure that you complete your financial aid paperwork in your college applications. And again, we have extended our deadline to get that done, which is now April 2nd. But that is the kind of your next priority. And then between the months of April through July, you're really going to want to focus on completing your community service hours. And then between the months of May through July, you're going to want to make sure that you complete the college enrollment process and meet your TSI-8 requirements. In terms of what supports you can expect from us here at T3 over the next few months is that upon taking the pledge, you're going to immediately begin receiving different text messages and emails with important updates, announcements, opportunities, and deadlines from us. And this is really to make sure that you are aware of the different supports and resources available, as well as keep you on track to complete and fulfill your T3 Scholar commitment so that you remain eligible for supports. You're going to gain access to that college and career advisor on your high school campus. And then between July and August, you're going to have that bridge programming support. If you are a junior, we know that some of these priorities aren't applicable to you. However, you will want to prioritize one, completing the pledge, like I mentioned, but also connecting with your college and career advisor at your campus to begin the post-secondary support planning process. It's never too early to start planning that in advance. So that is kind of in terms of the next few months, what your next steps are going to be before your senior year. So if you want to learn more about T3 or dig a little deeper, we have so many resources available on our website. So we do encourage you to visit that to learn more. That's going to conclude our presentation for today. I'm going to now open the floor to any questions that were submitted during the presentation to make sure we can get any questions answered by the time we leave here today.
Enix asked, and thank you, Sam, for dropping that link, but Enix would like to know more about the Texas Initiative assessment.
I'm happy to provide a little bit of overview on it. And this is way simpler than what it is, but it is an assessment that is provided by the state of Texas that is meant to assess, your readiness to take post-secondary level coursework, and whether you're, and the primary motivator for y'all to have met this requirement is so that when you get to your post-secondary institution, whether that is TCC or for your partner university of T3s or another Texas university that is not one of our partner universities, again, because this is not binding, is so that you don't have to take remedial classes. So when you take remedial classes, those classes are non-credit bearing, which means you have to pay for them, but you don't actually get college credit because they're meant to sort of act as a way to catch up to currently kind of the level of being a freshman in math or a freshman in English or reading. And so we want to work with you to support you in meeting the TSI requirements so that you actually don't have to really, invest that time and money, that you can begin credit-bearing coursework immediately.
And to kind of piggyback on that, Enix followed up with, is this coordinated through the T3 program, or is this something that I have to coordinate on my end?
Enix, that's a great question. What I would say is that you should reach out to the counselor at your school or someone at your school. Again, if you have questions or need support in who that is at your campus, let us know. We have relationships with people across Fort Worth ISD, so we're happy to connect you. But there is someone on your campus that I think, given like your current grade level, current kind of academic progress, is going to be able to best support you in figuring out what is the best pathway for you to meet TSI requirements. But we're happy to connect you to anyone. Kelsey, it looks like you had a question around, is the TSI required if you have a high enough SAT score? The answer is yes, or sorry, no. If you have a high enough SAT score, you can opt out of taking the TSI assessment. Again, I would just go back to someone at your school, your high school, to confirm, hey, counselor, hey, assistant principal, this is my SAT score. I just want to confirm that I've met TSI requirements on this so that I don't have to take remedial classes. So again, you're absolutely right. There's a certain score. It should be on that website. But I would just, again, advocate for or check in on that. One thing that Natalie didn't mention that I do want to bring up, since we've sort of rolled out this webinar and had conversations, we actually have a really wonderful and cool announcement with one of our four-year partners, which is the University of Texas Arlington. And so we've worked with them actually to provide a last dollar tuition-free scholarship to all T3 scholars. There are a couple caveats to all students who take the pledge whose overall family income, adjusted gross income, is reported on FAFSA or TASFA, is under $65,000. So this means that if you have been thinking about going to UTA, you would need to take the pledge, get into UTA, and then if your family makes collectively under $65,000 a year, you will have the last gap of your tuition covered at University of Texas Arlington. Again, just a piece of information for y'all as y'all think about the decisions that you want to make. Man, this is a great question. So the answer is, like, you need to make sure that the college that you are going to has your TSI scores, because they don't always make it from institution to institution. But like, let's say you took it at the testing center at TCC, and now you're deciding to go to UT Arlington. You should need to take it again at UT Arlington. You just need to make sure that UT Arlington has your test scores.
Oh, here we go from Christian Martinez. His next question is, I'm in the National Honor Society and I also have to do community hours for the program. Would I have to do separate community hours for both deadline, or can I use the same community hours for both T3 and my National Honor Society?
Christian, great question. You can use your hours from the National Honor Society. You don't have to do something completely separate. But we've gotten some questions from students like, can I use community service hours for my sophomore year of high school? And the answer to that is no. It needs to be within the academic year. So you'll also have to complete community service your freshman year at your post-secondary institution and sophomore year. And so the 8 hours that you complete need to be within that academic year. But for now, if you're part of National Honor Society and you're doing hours with them, you can submit those. If you're part of a student organization, once you get to your post-secondary institution that requires you to do community service, you can submit those. We're not asking you to do something completely separate from other programs that you're already doing. The form that you'll get will just say, hey, this is the hours that I did. This is the organization that I did them with. and here is a person that can verify that I did these hours. So that could be your National Honor Society club person, or the actual organization that you did community service hours with. There's one more thing to answer. So London, you were asking about where we can apply for the UTA scholarship. With the scholarships that the last dollar scholarship and the first dollar scholarships, if you take the pledge and do all of the steps, you don't actually have to apply for the scholarship again. It automatically comes as part of your financial aid package from that institution. It's just important that you take the steps that are outlined, like completing the FAFSA, applying, enrolling. And there's not a separate thing that you have to do. It'll all be looped in as part of the financial aid package that you receive from that school.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Richard. Okay. Well, we are over time now, so I do want to respect everyone's time. If anybody does have any additional questions or thinks of something after we end our time together today, again, feel free to email us at support@t3partnership.org. We are happy to answer any questions you may have. And again, just thank you on behalf of our entire team for choosing to spend the last 30 minutes with us. And we hope that you learned something today, and also take the T3 Partnership Pledge if you haven't done so already.